Hello, I'm David Adams. Welcome to my channel. I like to store all of my reference material in a phone. Why, you ask? Well, I think the answer is obvious. Before I talk about this, I want to share a very short video clip of to clarify what I mentioned before regarding pencils. This is an 11B pencil, and I need to clarify what I said in part 1 regarding the graphite. When I use soft lead pencils that are 11B and above, it leaves behind little specks of graphite that's very annoying. When I draw with pencils like this, making a bunch of marks on the ivory, the little specks of graphite accumulates and it gets messy. It gets on my hands, my clothes, my desk. It goes everywhere. So the pencils I use to draw with on ivory are 8B, 9B, and 10B, nothing above that, because of the specks of graphite that it leaves behind. Now, you may use the darker pencils, but I just don't like the messy graphite it leaves behind. So on the left, I used an 11B pencil, and on the right, an 8B pencil, which I prefer for drawing on ivory. When I do scrimshaw, I refer to references for accuracy of detail in my subject matter. For years, I used prints. I would print out all my images that would help me with the scrimshaw to be more accurate in my detailing. But these days I use a device like a phone. I could categorize all of the different subject matter, animals, mountains, water, even water. And then I could go through this and find what I need to get to make sure that the detail I put into the etching is accurate and a believable depiction of the subject matter. I used to use a tablet, but for me that was taking up too much space. And I got this phone. The reason I got this phone was a couple of the accounts I have online require two-factor authorization, and begrudgingly I bought a phone for that, for doing that. I don't like talking on phones. I don't like phones, but I do like this because it holds all my references. I use a landline. Anyway, I don't use this for phone calls at all. I use it for two-factor authorization and for my references. I could hold thousands of different subject matter in this, and it doesn't take up much space at all. And I could easily and quickly go through the images to find specific details for whatever I need in my scrimshaw. And yeah, that's why I use that foam to refer to. It's been very helpful. Anyway, I hope you enjoy this demonstration. This is stage 2 of the Mammoth Scene. And this video is a little longer, a bit longer than the other one, because it's the etching stage of the scrimshaw. So I hope you enjoy it, and thanks for watching. This is step 1 of stage 2 for this Woolly Mammoth scene. Step 1 is basically outlining the subjects and all of the elements within the composition. Step 2 is the long and drawn out process of the fill-in work. For this Mammoth scene, I combine both steps 1 and 2, starting from the right, and I work my way to the left. If I were left-handed, I would reverse it. I'd start on the left and work my way to the right. I carefully outline everything in the foreground and then progressively work my way to the background. As I slowly etch the subject matter, this being the mammoths, I'm very mindful to stay true to what's drawn there. For other objects such as trees, rocks, and mountains within this design are not structurally specific in their form, which allows for deviation from the drawing. The woolly mammoths, on the other hand, have a distinct and specific anatomical structure, which was all worked out in the drawing in stage 1. So for me, it's important to stick to that drawing to interpret the form correctly. As I was drawing the rocks in stage 1, I looked over at the snowbank and I saw these animal tracks. And I thought, this is wonderful. I'll put some animal tracks along this in the snow. So here I lightly stipple the tracks to add interest to this composition. It's little accents like this that will go unnoticed until the collector takes a closer look at the piece and examines it. Since the critical portions of the mammoths on the right side were done, I'm free to rest my hand in that area. It doesn't matter if some smudging or smears occur, because the image will remain in my visual memory. All of the etching here is light to medium pressure while I'm outlining the subjects. Greater pressure will be used to darken areas in step 2 of the process. I use a very light touch when I'm outlining tusks, so that after the first inking, it could easily be corrected. I include these overview video clips to show how I hold the ivory. I could feel the vibrations moving through the ivory and get a sense of the depth of the etching and sort of gauge the application of subsequent marks. When I'm engaged in Scrimshaw, I'm not really aware of the tool in my hand, the scriber. My focus is to manifest the image in my mind, the visualization, onto the ivory. I keep all my references in a device, in this case a phone, and I refer to the references for accurate detail. I taped a sheet of paper onto the ivory because I'm working further up on the piece, and this will protect the mountain from getting smudged. Here I'm etching the trees. The cuts are bold, heavy, and horizontal for the most part. Depends on where the marks are made, and I'm careful to avoid crossing over any of the mammoth outlines. At this point, all of the foreground and middle ground have been outlined, which frees me to work faster and more deliberate in my etching. The next step here is to outline the mountain. I love mountains. I love to scrimshaw the mountains. I love to paint mountains. But unfortunately, I removed most of the mountain scrimshaw for this demonstration because I thought perhaps maybe it was irrelevant to this demonstration. At this point, it's been many weeks since I started this project, and this is the first inking, and boy, is it a lot of space to cover, a lot of area. by the way, when a piece like this comes across my desk with multiple cracks, small cracks, I just ignore those cracks and continue with the intended project. For some pieces, the ink will stick to the ivory like glue, but not with this one. With this one, the ink was wiped off without any problem at all. I always stipple the tusks, whether it's mammoth, elephant, walrus, or warthog. I keep in mind the light source, which in this scene is from the upper right, and stipple the darker values accordingly. I stipple up and down the tusk sporadically, bringing the dots closer and closer together, strategically placing them for darker values according to the light source. Here, I'm stippling in a zigzag motion to place the dots between the dots to fill in the gaps. So when inked, this will look like a nicely shaded tusk with a light and dark side. Here I am etching the ground area between the patches of snow with shortcuts, plucks, stippling, and C-curve cuts to indicate pebbles and rocks and dirt. Here in the near foreground, I'm etching the lifeless tree for dark values. Here I'm etching the tree with shortcuts and lines to give it some texture. And finally, I'm etching in some gnarly limbs for the tree. And then I'll do some touch-up work over the entire piece. And I'll call it done for stage 2. Thank you for watching. I hope this video was helpful. Please leave a comment, give me a thumbs up, and subscribe if you haven't. That way you'll get notified of new videos. And remember, think good thoughts, throw out the trash, raise your vibration, and focus. I wish you the best.